I just want to welcome everybody and thank everybody for coming. Hope that you get enough to eat, and feel free, they'll be bringing coffee around for you, but I just want to welcome everybody and introduce the council. We have Dave McClung hiding over here in the corner. We have Fran Holmes in the back, and we have Steve Scott over there. And also just around the corner, we have Steve Scott's wife, who is our representative for Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, our veterans group in the city. And so if anybody needs any information or wants any information Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, she's right back there. I'd like to introduce, not Dave Peralt right now, how about Sue Polk, our city administrator, or our city, sorry, I got that, our public works director, Sue's. Stand up, Sue. Oh, you were. Sorry. Stand up. Oh, you did. Okay, if everybody saw her. And Dave Peralt is in the back. He's our city administrator. He's been here with us almost a year now, but he was with us for a long time before, working there. We have Gail Bauman, and she is not here. Oh, she's at a conference. She's our finance director, and she's doing a great job, a wonderful job. And we have a new engineering tech who is starting October 1st. His name will be David. He will be helping Sue because, as you can see, all the projects across the city have pretty much been a wear and tear on her all year with all the issues going on with the roads. And we have Dawn Skelly. She's way in the back. She's our new communication person. She's the one who's going to be doing our website, upgrading it, working on the newsletter. She's just doing a great job. And we have Jolene. Jolene's our deputy clerk who makes sure we all follow the rules of the law and does a wonderful job doing that. So I want to welcome everybody. We also have MnDOT staff here. You guys can introduce yourself later, because they'll be speaking and telling you their road construction projects. And we have Ramsey County here. And we also have a member of the National Guard, the Office of Defense. Mary is here. She doesn't have a slide, but I'll be talking about the new Readiness Center for the Red Bulls. It's a brigade, oh no, it's not a brigade headquarters, sorry. Not being military, I don't have, it's a division headquarters for the Red Bulls that will be going up on TCAP up there where the National Guard is off of Hamlin. So that's a really big thing for our city too. 34th Infantry. Thank you, Steve. This year we're going to do something a little different. We're going to, instead of asking questions from the mic and interrupting the speakers and stuff, we're going to have, we all have index cards on your tables. So we're going to ask you to write your questions on the cards, and then we'll answer those at the end. Sorry, it just gets, we have so many slides and we want to get so much information down to you that we want to do it fast. So our last 15 minutes we're going to do for slides. I'm going to go kind of fast because, again, we have more than 40 slides and we want to get you out of here on time and not bore you. So the first slide I have is about the TCAP update. Right now, most of you know that we're partnering with Ramsey County and Alatus to develop the former Twin City ammunition plant. Nothing has really changed on that. TCAP is still planning to go ahead with retail, office, and light industrial, a town center, neighborhoods with architectural features, a variety of housing options that will serve a multitude of young families, empty nesters, families, and seniors. We also have trails and parks that will be going in up there and other site amenities. We're still continuing. The city just got into the negotiations in May with Alatus and the county, so we are looking at hopefully finalizing a master development agreement this year, which would have every single detail in it for us to follow and for the development to go forward. A public forum for TCAP, since there's so much stuff going on, we really need the residents' input about taxes and how to pay for stuff. It's going to really affect us. So we are having a public forum November 15th, and it will be at the Ramsey County Maintenance Facility, the Marsden Room. We've had several other meetings there, so hopefully everyone will know where that is. And we're trying to get feedback on that. Also, in the original agreement, the developer had given the city a 1.6 acre site for a civic use. And we formed a committee, and the committee was formed from 2 members of each of the existing city committees. And they are looking at different processes or what we really need in our community, what we're missing to come up with an idea for that building. The developer has now come forward with some other ideas, so we are busy working together to come up with ideas, and we're hoping at the November 15th meeting you come up with your brainstorming ideas on what you'd like to see happen in Arden Hills. Once the MDA is signed, there's going to be site work starting, mostly the grading, and then next year then would follow with the infrastructure and construction in 2019. That would be the big major roads. And then commercial development would probably start in fall of 2020. There's a lot that has to be done on the grading, and there's lots of land that has to be moved and dirt, so it takes a while. Those of you who've lived on a street project knows nothing happens that fast because of it. Fran will be giving our next part of the presentation. Oh, there you are. Didn't see you. You moved.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Fran Holmes from the Arden Hills City Council. I'd like to personally welcome everyone who's at this event today. I'm going to be talking a bit about the new and expanding businesses in what we affectionately call current Arden Hills, what's going on right now. The first one I wanted to talk about is the Land O'Lakes expansion. Land O'Lakes is our large Fortune 500 company, now ranking 216, headquartered in our city, so we value its presence here in Arden Hills. And Land O'Lakes in May opened up its second building on its campus, and the campus is located on Lexington and County Road F, which everyone affectionately knows as the closed road, but that will be ending soon. We'll hear about that later. The building provides a collaborative, efficient workspace, and there's now room on the campus for 2,000 employees. The building constructed a 4-story, 155,000 square foot office building, and the new site is very up to date. It includes on-site daycare, wellness and fitness centers, a newly remodeled credit union, a cafeteria, technology assistance, and other amenities for their employees. So we're real pleased about that. Another expansion we have is the expansion that you've been seeing up on Lexington and Red Fox Road, the Lexington Station Phase 2. That will be completed by the end of the year. This will include a 17,000-foot multi-retail and office building, which will include a number of restaurants. One will be Old Southern Barbecue Smokehouse, and we will have Pancheras Mexican Grill and Orchard Vietnamese, so a variety of restaurants up there. There will also be some businesses, including State Farm Insurance, Club Pilates, Fitness Center, and Pet Evolution, which is a grooming and supply store with dog washing stations, so that will be fun. Lexington Station is owned and managed by Roberts Management Group, and this is the second phase. There will also be 2 more phases. Phase 3 is in the progression that will include another multi-tenant and sister building, and we'll look forward to seeing what Phase 4 will be in the planning stages. In September, Roberts Management at the Lexington Station had an open house with family fun activities. The next one is a new and expanding business, and that's our Health Partners Clinic, which is up on Northwoods Drive, just south of 694. They've expanded their facility, and they now include additional patient rooms, ultrasound, expanding specialty services, including adult and pediatric dermatology and pediatric endocrinology. This has been, Health Partners have been up there for a number of years, so we value their presence in Arden Hills as well. They serve families, seniors, and community members, and we appreciate those additions to our community. Right around the corner here, we have the new Dunn's Brothers, which is opened west of Lexington here on County Road E as well, and it's a new coffee shop, 4,200 square feet, which includes a drive-through, conference rooms, a family area, and an outdoor patio. We're always pleased. The coffee shops in every area are so popular, and this one is getting to be a new destination for the students that love to go to coffee shops, as well as all our other residents. And one of the unique aspects of this particular business coffee shop is that there are coffee beans roasted on site for people to purchase. We're just starting to see some activity at the Marriott Spring Hill Suites, which would be our new hotel up by the Health Partners Clinic, also on Northwoods Drive, south of 694. It will include 139 suites, an indoor pool, a fitness center, and a business center. And the building permits have been secured, and we're hoping that groundbreaking will be starting, and it'll take about a year to build once the groundbreaking is done. So we're looking forward to that. We have two more areas where we've had expanding businesses. Two of our corporate campus areas are growing and being filled up. Right west of here is the North Park Corporate Center. It is now full, and it recently signed its last tenant, and so this is an area where we're going to have a lot of activity and traffic, and so we're looking forward to that. There's a health partner clinic and some other businesses there as well. And then finally, we're excited about up at the Old Smith Medical Building on 1275 Gray Fox Road. We're now having a new business called EntryCon. Its headquarters in Arden Hills. It's recently added 30,000 square feet for manufacturing, and this expansion will include robotic assembly of medical components and systems, an expanding company molding business, and includes body-worn devices such as hearing aids. So we're looking forward to their presence now here in Arden Hills, and so there's a lot going on, as Councilmember Holden said, a lot going on in the city. With the economy booming, we're seeing all sorts of activity. So now I will turn it over to Dave for, Councilmember McClung to talk about his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Councilmember Holmes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Dave McClung, one of your city council members. Just wanted to thank you all for being here, and thank you very much for Tavern Grill for hosting this. They are a wonderful asset to our community, so thank them on the way out. I have two very exciting topics to cover with you today. Civil defense sirens and budget and finance. So you may want to shift in your seats a little bit. They're page turners. So we have had this year an important update for our civil defense sirens, our emergency siren updates. 4 sirens were replaced in 2018 with 2 upgraded sirens. They are located at 4250 Old Highway 10 and Arden Place and Snelling Avenue. Sirens on Ingerson Road and New Brighton Road were eliminated. Now, there's new technology which allowed coverage to be expanded from to cover the entire city from these 2 sites versus the 4 sites we used to have that didn't cover the entire city. And this also provides better backup coverage as well. The old sirens that we had were decades-old technology, and those of you who lived in the northern part of the city may have remembered a couple of years ago there was a software glitch that set the siren off at 1 o'clock in the morning frequently. So those of us were waking up wondering what was going on. Well, we're not going to have that anymore. Next slide. Also want to talk a little bit about finance and property taxes. In 2018, as a city council, we work very hard to keep your taxes low. That's one of the things about Arden Hills is we are constantly in the lower tier of county cities in Ramsey County in terms of our stewardship with your tax dollars. But at the same time, we also do quite a bit with the money that you give us to manage the city. Monthly taxes on a $333,800 home are about $69 per month. Your tax dollar buys you 42 cents worth of public safety services, 25, and this is out of every dollar, 42 cents worth goes to public safety services, 25 cents for general government, 14 cents for park and recreation, and 11 cents for public works. So as you can see, we run a pretty lean ship here in Arden Hills. We also have transfer to fund economic development activities and capital improvements. Next slide, please. If I can get mine turned. In addition to paying for city services, your property taxes go to Ramsey County. So 46 cents of that dollar goes to Ramsey County. The Moundsview School District or the Roseville School District, depending on where you live in the city, which district boundaries you are in, account for 25 cents of the dollar. As you can see, 22 cents comes to the city of Arden Hills, while 7 cents is sent to other agencies. And you can see from the graphic up there, it kind of breaks down the county's portion, the city's portion, the school district's portion, and other agencies, Metropolitan Mosquito Control, Metropolitan Council, things like that. I want to talk just briefly about our 2019 budget. The 2019 budget will be finalized in December following the annual Truth and Taxation hearing. That's going to be at our first council meeting in December, and I hope you all come out and listen to the presentation and get some information about how we are spending your money, proposing to spend your money in 2019, and we, the City Council, want to hear from you. The city has set a preliminary levy increase of 5%. Arden Hills is one of the lowest tax rates, as I said, in Ramsey County, but also in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. So that says something about us. We're adding, because even though we are small, we are continuing to add programs and activities for a city our size. We do pack quite a bit of punch in. We're adding 2 new staff positions this year, including a recreation programmer for our growing Parks and Rec program, which is important for both our kids and our seniors, and a senior engineering technician to assist our Director of Engineering and Public Works, because as Councilmember Holden said, our Public Works Director, Sue Polka, has been doing a fantastic job, but with everything that we have going on in the city, you know, she needs some assistance. In order to meet demands for our street maintenance, we've also added an additional $100,000 to that budget line item. We want to be good stewards of the roads. When you pay an assessment to help us put the roads in, we want to be good stewards of trying to maintain and keep those roads up and make them last as long as we can possibly do. Lastly, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office is incurring additional costs. As you know, we contract for services with Ramsey County for our police protection, with Lake Johanna Fire Department for our fire protection. So we don't have our own police department or our own fire department and have all those costs. We share the costs among multiple cities by contracting with those agencies. That being said, there are some cost increases for the Sheriff's Office this year, and that is reflected in an increase in our contracted fees that we have to pay. And with that, I think I missed a slide. Actually, I didn't. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Brenda, and she's going to talk about the 2014 Comprehensive Plan.
Thanks, Dave. You did make that real interesting. So, I did just want to point out that Councilmember Holmes talked about Lexington Station. Nick Roberts is here today, so if anybody has any questions on Lexington Station, he's way in the back. Nick, if you want to raise your hand. So he's a great asset to our community. He does sponsor a lot of events too, so it's been great. And the positions that Councilmember McClung talked about adding, they were originally in our budgets years ago, but as time came, we didn't have use for them, and now we're getting use. So they're new for next year, but they have been in the budgets for years, and we hire people when we need them, and we try to save money by keeping positions empty if we're not going to utilize the staff. I want to talk about the 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Every 10 years, and what the Comprehensive Plan really is, it's land use in Arden Hills. So every 10 years, cities in the metropolitan area that are under Met Council have to update their comprehensive plans in alignment with what the Met Council's regional development plan and Thrive is. So if Met Council has goals for us, we need to make sure that's covered in the comprehensive plan. First The comprehensive plan is put together by staff with input from the city council, and then it goes to the planning commission, and the planning commission has an open house and solicits input, and they draft amendments to it, and then we put together the chapter of the whole council, of the whole Metropolitan Council 2040 comprehensive plan, and we approve it. Then it goes to the city council, and the city council approves it. Then we have to submit the plan to adjacent communities. So everybody has to approve it on the adjacents and provide us comments. So ours is with Shoreview, Moundsview, Roseville, New Brighton. And after we get their feedback and everyone else's feedback, it goes to other entities too, like Sheriff Department and stuff. It comes back to the council and we go through all the input, and we may make changes, we may not make changes depending on what the input is. And then we approve it at the end of the year, hopefully this year. The deadline is December 31st, so we're trying to get that done before then. There is a draft of the comprehensive plan on the website, so feel free to look at it if you want to know what the land use is behind where you live, or you're concerned about if this is really a park or just open space and who owns it. So that's all out there on the comprehensive website. So it is available to you, and it is an important thing. People all the time say, well, I didn't know that that person could build on that lot next to me. And the comprehensive plan addresses this, and that's kind of our guiding principle once we get going with development and who can build what, where, and what the land use is. So next is going to be Steve. Councilmember Scott.
Good morning. My name is Steve Scott. I'm the newest member on the council. Prior to coming on the council, I was on the city's Parks, Trails, and Recreation Committee for approximately 8 years. We call that the PTRC. That's a volunteer group of community members that serves as an advisory role to the city council. And with us here today is the chair of our PTRC, Mr. Rich Stroman, way in the back. So Mr. Trail, he's very enthusiastic trails. In fact, yesterday morning I actually met with County Commissioner Blake Huffman for breakfast, and he related an incident where he and Lyle and Rich were out around the building 189 area in the north part of TCAP, and Rich said, hey, let's go take a look inside. Commissioner Huffman says, well, it's got a fence around that. We can't go through. Oh yeah, I know where all the holes are. So they did get in, they toured the building. That building will eventually be repurposed as part of the TCAP redevelopment. But the PTRC, every year they go out and do a physical evaluation of all the city's 14 parks that are maintained. They assess the condition of the playground equipment, the trails, the surface areas, athletic amenities, and the playground equipment. And from that, they'll make a recommendation to the city council of what to prioritize for repair or reconstruction. And that, combined with the Public Works Department, who maintains physically the parks, the city council will prioritize which projects are due for repair or reconstruction the following year. So 2018, we had an interesting project on our Johanna Marsh Park. And that's a smaller park located on Old Snelling Ave. It's kind of tucked away. It's located on a marshy bog, which is why it's called Johanna Marsh. But it has a hard surface tennis court that, because of the soft soil there, was very difficult for the city to maintain. So we had to reevaluate how we wanted to use that park in the future. So we met with the area residents several occasions to get their input of what they wanted to see. So the younger families, they of course wanted the playground equipment emphasized. I'm not going to call them older, but more mature residents, they liked the natural area. They wanted a trail with like an overlook area so they can enjoy the scenic amenities of that park. So what we eventually did is arrived at a compromise. So we're just finishing up the construction of that. There's a nice playground area. We've seen a lot of turnover in the families. A lot of younger families are now moving back into the city with their children. So we have the playground equipment for them to enjoy. And there's a trail with an overlook so the mature people can enjoy the physical scenic attributes of that area. We also started on an ambitious extension of our trail network this city. The trail along North Snelling Avenue North, which starts at Lindy's Steakhouse, runs up north past Bethel University and goes west on County Road E2. We're scheduled for a major implementation. So that's what a lot of that construction that you see over there is happening. The Excel Energy is also performing some repair and replacement of their major gas infrastructure. So in conjunction with the city construction, you'll see a lot of disruption that just caused by Excel Energy. So we're really excited to have the North Snelling Trail extension opened up, and that'll lead up to some future projects that'll hopefully tie in the rest of the trail network city that this residents enjoy. We're out there all the time, and residents will come up to us and explain how they enjoy our system of trails. We're kind of an active area of the country. People value their health, their ability to use the trails. Eventually, there's going to be a network of trails that you could travel from the Mississippi River over to the St. Croix River. So we work a lot with the surrounding communities and the county, Ramsey County, to coordinate with their plans. So next up, I'm going to call up Council Member Fran Holmes again. She's going to update you on the best methods of how to contact city staff. So.
This section is really two parts. It has to do with our website. And we've had a number of residents and committee members say that it's difficult to figure out how to get in touch with city staff from our website. And we're fortunate with our website because it will take you directly to the name and number and website of the city staff. Some cities you just have to send a general email, but we have direct contact with our city staff. So if you want to contact them, you can do that directly from our website. But if you don't know how to do it, there are 3 ways you can do it. They're not super intuitive. So if you look at the slides, it will show you there's all the ways you contact on the website. It says contact us. So at the bottom of the website, of the main page of the website, at the bottom, and it's circled up there, it says contact us. So that's the first way you can do it. Just hit contact us at the bottom bar on the website. You can also contact us, the city staff, from 2 drop-down menus, and it's under About Arden Hills, a drop-down. There's another bar that says contact us, so you can hit that to contact us. The third one is also a drop-down menu, which is I Want to Help Center. You hit that, it will also say contact, and then there's a bar for city council and city staff. So once you figure it out, it's very easy to use, because then it takes you to this next page, which is our staff directory, and you can either look at it through a department, or if you know the person's name directly. This makes it a lot easier for you to call people directly. You can get their voicemail if you need it. You can also call the general number, but a lot of people like to kind of streamline their contacting our city staff. So that's just a brief tutorial. Oh, and then you can also, there's another website that is called Report a Concern Request Tracker, and this is the request tracker where we actually keep track of your requests. So if you have an informal call, you want to do something quick with a staff member, you can just call them. But if you have a specific request and you want it tracked, so we make sure we address it, you can go to the website and you can do the request tracker. And then that has a menu for specific requests that you have, such as general city feedback, nuisance concerns, park maintenance concerns, anything you see in the city that you want addressed, potholes, street lights are out, traffic signals are out. This way you can do it on this menu if you would like to write out, sometimes people write out fairly long, detailed concerns that they have, and that's important for us to know about. So that's another way to contact our city staff with a specific request. We also are going to be starting a new website. We're working on a new website that's going to come out in January of 2019. This website will be done with our vendor Civic Plus. This is a website that a vendor that many cities use throughout the country. And we have up here on our screen the website for actually Hopkins, and ours will be similar to this. Our website was last designed back in 2012, so we're updating it. Just like all technology, things need to be updated on a regular basis. And it should have easier navigation, more intuitive, and it'll be for our important audiences, which are geared towards the residents and our businesses, our individual residents and our business residents. It will be easier to complete certain tasks. People are using the website a lot for paying their water bills and for paying, signing up for programs for youth and park and rec programs. So that will be part of what we're going to be enhancing on the website. It will also be more usable for mobile sites, mobile use, such as your phone and tablets, not just for computers. So it's going to be specially designed so that if you get on with your phone or your tablet, it'll be easier to use. And it will meet the Americans with Disability Act requirements, which is important as well. And so this website will go live in January, and our web address will remain the same, cityofardenhills.org. So now I will turn it over to you? Steve. Councilmember Scott, thank you.
Hello again. My segment of this presentation is transportation and construction updates, everybody's favorite headache each year. So, city maintains approximately 29 miles of city streets. Each year, city staff goes out and conducts an evaluation of the condition of those streets. They score them and assign a priority for scheduled repair and reconstruction efforts. So the worst come to the top of the list, and there's several levels of repair and maintenance activities that take place. I want to add that the county and MnDOT also do their construction during the summer months. You know, as soon as the snow goes away, the mosquitoes come out, and that's when the orange cones come up. So I don't know if there's any correlation between the two, but both of them seem to be kind of major inconveniences. So this year we identified several areas for street maintenance and repair. The left-hand slide, do we have that up there for the streets? Okay, I see it. So the left-hand side is the Brewberry, Park Shore, and Wedgwood Drive on the western part of the city. Those were scheduled for reclamation, which is kind of a moderate level of repair and restoration. That is now completed. Then they moved down to the lower right-hand corner of the map, and that's the Flora Lane, Gale Circle, James Circle, Norma Circle areas. That is a full reconstruction. Since we're doing that extensive amount of reconstruction, we decided it was also advantageous for us to go in and replace the water and the sewer mains at that time. So we only have to do all that work once, and hopefully we'll be set for another 20 years or so. So they are just finishing up or starting the pavement, I think, on the lower right-hand section of Floral and Gale and James Circle and Norma Circle. They are doing some final grading on the upper right corner, which is the Indian Oaks and Indian Oaks Trail, and they'll be putting the preliminary level of paving on that. That will stay for the winter months. The next spring they'll come up and put a final layer of asphalt paving to bring that up to final grade. But that area was prone to some drainage issues. So they're getting full curbing, gutters, drainage. There was another project that was drainage related, and that ran from Indian Oaks Court up through Colleen Avenue, and that has been laid and is now being restored for the landscaping. The community members came to a presentation, listened to the plans, voiced their concerns and whatnot, and I have to say the feedback that we've gotten back is the construction crews have been very responsive to the residents. During the major part of the reconstruction, of course, you can't get in to access your driveway, so they had to park on some surrounding streets. But everybody seems to be cooperating with that, and hopefully in another month, we'll have those projects wrapped up. So I think at this time, oh, I do have some more slides here. I was handed a new set of slides. So along the Old Snelling Trail extension, we also decided to upgrade the water main infrastructure on that. We had seen a number of water main breaks in that, and when the crews were out to repair, they looked at it, and the condition of the existing water main was much worse than they had expected. So along with the trail extension construction, we decided to go ahead and replace those water mains. And I think at this point I will turn it back over to Mayor Pro Tem Brenda Holden.
And I'd just like to say that the new Blacktop Trail, there's a new Blacktop Trail on County Road E from Freeway Park to Snelling. Old Snelling from County Road E to E2, that's been finished up. They're just in the last parts of cleaning up the mess. And County Road E2, Cleveland to New Brighton, we kind of had small segments that weren't all put together. So now we have one continuous sidewalk in this area. And coming up this fall, we're hoping to replace the old Snelling Bridge. When you're trying to take Snelling when you're trying to take Old Snelling to get onto 51, there's a bridge there that isn't up to par, and we're going to replace it, and we did get a couple grants to do some of the work on that, so that will be happening this fall. I believe, Sue, is it this fall or is it, yep, still this fall, so that will be, don't plan on taking that for a couple weeks because we have to dig up the old culvert and replace it. So right now, I just want to tell everyone too that every 3 years we go around the city and we do videotape, stick a camera down into the sewer lines and videotape the sewer so that we know what the extent of, if there's roots in there, if there's damage, and we make sure we do that every year. And we've been in a really extensive lining of the sewers. I know my neighborhood up by County Road D, Lake Johanna Boulevard, New Brighton Road, ours were clay pipes, and they were well over, my house was built in the 50s, so very old, so we have lined those, and so we don't have a lot of leakage now out into the system, out into the dirt around it, so we are working on that. Right now, if anybody has any questions for city, they're going to come around and collect the cards, so feel free to write those cards up, and we'll get those collected. But next we're going to go to MnDOT. Mark Lindberg, one of our favorite MnDOT guys, he's got all the answers, so he likes it. Here's your...
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am Mark Lindenberg with the Minnesota Department of Transportation, and I'm just going to talk briefly about a couple of fun and exciting things that, as residents of Arden Hills, you'll get to experience for the next few years. First, I'm going to talk about a project that you've seen before. I think I've brought it forth the last couple of years that we've been here. It's the construction project where we're going to add a second exit lane from 35W southbound to go east onto US 10. I got an overview of the project right there. You really can't see a whole lot of it, so we'll be zooming in on it. but I wanted to show you kind of the whole magnitude of the project. As a part of the project, right, MnDOT's going to be doing the roadway work. Included into that project, the city is going to be replacing a water main and then repaving the frontage road on the side of the road, kind of in front of Big Ten and the manufactured home community, and then the homes there. And then that project's slated to be let in November. Construction will begin in the spring of 2019. So as we zoom in on the picture a little bit, you can see where if you're headed southbound on 35W, we're going to widen that ramp, include 2 lanes as you come off of 35W, come up around the curve. I'll wait for the picture to come back. Connect in with County Road 10 and get ready to go over 35W. As we proceed to the east, there'll be 3 lanes of traffic now in that eastbound direction. We're also going to be constructing a right turn lane to exit off into Scherer Brothers that exists today. Just beyond Scherer Brothers, we're going to have an acceleration lane for their trucks to get out onto US 10, get up to speed a little bit. That is in conjunction with a right turn lane to exit to get into the manufactured home community and or Big Ten. Then as we look at the third and final slide for that project, we're constructing a right out from Big Ten onto US 10. This picture doesn't reflect, like I said, where we're going to be repaving that whole frontage road, but we are. And then we're also going to be taking that frontage road down, connecting it into the ramp that's the eastbound exit to County Road 96. Excuse me. So that is that project. Again, that should all be done in 2019. A small little project that we've got beginning now is a $208 million 35W Min-Pass construction and repaving of I-35W, essentially from 36 up to Sunset in Blaine. So that project it's a design-build project, 12 miles long, where we're going to be adding Min-Pass, repaving all of the roadway. I've got the project website on the slide. I think it's the last bullet point. So you can always go out there. Wonderful if you did go out to the website, sign up for construction updates from the project. You'll get them throughout the life of the project. It's slated to be a 3 or 4 year construction project, still working on the exact information from the contractor so we know exactly what's going to happen. We are out on 35W right now where we've got some construction going on. We're kind of tearing off the shoulder on the inside. We're going to be adding some pavement up there. We're doing that this year to get ahead of construction next year so that when spring comes next year, we can hit the ground running with construction. We're really hoping that will help construction get done in a faster time frame than if we didn't do that. And then we're also building the construction crossovers. So as we shift traffic from one side of the roadway to the other, again, that just helps us in our schedule, hopefully getting construction done quicker. Another part of that 35W Min-Pass project is I'm going to be having a separate contract from the construction contract for the public engagement. So this project, like I said, is 12 miles long. It goes through 8 communities in 2 counties. And there are multiple other cities that are real close to that corridor. With that many different partners involved into the project, no 2 cities are going to want information provided to them the same way. So MnDOT made a determination that we're going to let a separate contract so we can hold a public engagement outside of that. We can hopefully have a lot more flexibility. We can work with the cities, the counties, and provide the information in a multitude of different ways, whichever way any city wants us to do it. Hopefully, as twists and turns come up in the project, we're able to work with our contractor and get things done a lot quicker and a lot easier. So hopefully you'll see something a little bit new. Hopefully it will be productive and, I'm just going to say exciting because, let's all believe it. This construction is nothing but excitement for all of us. So maybe it's a little different approach. We're going to give it a shot and hopefully it's real successful. And with that, I do have the project website on this slide. I'll leave that up while we transition. If I give it back to you to move on. Thank you.
And Mark's here, and he's sitting right back there, so after the meeting, if any, you all know what he looks like now. If anybody has any questions for him after, MnDOT's, they're big, complicated stuff, and they take a long time, so it's important to get your questions answered for your business. Next will be Ramsey County presenting on theirs. Sorry, I have to take my glasses off to read, and I don't want to put them on and off, so obviously I'll let the gentleman, he's new to Ramsey County, and we're really looking forward to working with him.
Thank you. Good morning, Ted Schenecker, the new Ramsey County Public Works Director. For those of you that have been with engaged in the city for a while, you probably remember Jim Tolis. Jim Tolis was the Public Works Director and county employee for over 40 years. So Jim retired at the beginning of this year, and so I've got about 9 months under my belt here. So I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about some of the transportation projects that are going on in Arden Hills here. So again, new guy, I get to look at things, I get to understand things. Just little background tidbits here. It shocked me for a community as small as, relatively geographically small as Arden Hills is, we have 15 distinct county roads. So we have a pretty significant transportation impact within your city. On those roads, anywhere from 1,000 to about 27 to 28,000 vehicles per day. So you get on some of our smaller county roads out there up to our County Road 96 or Lexington Avenue that are pushing high volumes of traffic through your community. As you look at this slide here, I'm not going to talk about TCAP. TCAP was mentioned earlier. From the county side of this business, significant transportation investments have been made already to prepare for TCAP. Interchange at County Road 96 and 35W, interchange at Highway 10 and 96, County Road H, 35W, County Road I, 35W, the thumb road from County Road H up to County Road I. So a lot of planning work on the transportation side is being put in place or is currently in place to get ready for that development to occur. Am I pushing buttons? There we go. At Ramsey County, we like to push buttons. So I'm going to talk about two of our current projects that we have going on in the community. The first one is County Road 96. This was not a pavement job. It wasn't a capacity job. It was to address more the pedestrian mobility aspects along that whole corridor. So two components of it, going from Snelling Avenue on the west side all the way over to Highway 61 in White Bear Lake. The main aspects were the traffic signal enhancements, so adding the flashing yellow left turn arrows that allows us flexibility to turn those on and off depending on traffic volumes, depending on safety times. So at peak hours, they may operate like they are today, where it comes up as a green arrow, yellow arrow, red arrow. Does not allow that left turn to happen during higher volume, higher traffic times. We get into those off-peak hours, off-peak times, that flashing arrow comes up, so you're not sitting there waiting, wondering, why am I waiting here? Well, there's no one coming. So the opportunity is there for you to make that turn. And then another piece of it is more for the pedestrian realm, the accessible pedestrian signals. So that's the push buttons that you see there. Individual per movement where you're crossing, they beep. They countdown timers, those things to help people with disabilities, either physical, visual, hearing impairments. The other piece was the curb ramps, the American with Disabilities, again, somebody who's visually impaired crossing the road, giving them an opportunity to know when they're walking from that sidewalk out into the roadway environment. If you're wondering when the flashing arrows are coming, like our financial officer at Ramsey County who keeps bothering me about it, we are working on the signal timing plans right now and implementing the flashing arrows hopefully within the next month here. We've heard a lot of comments about County Road F. This seems to be the hot topic out there. Yes, we know it is not open. Yes, we want to get it open as quickly as we can. It's one of those projects that you look at on the surface and you say, it's a half mile in length. All you're doing is widening it, doing some pavement stuff. It's not that big of a job. I equate it to once you start doing work in your house, you open up the walls and suddenly you start finding out what's behind the walls. That was a little bit of what this project was. A lot of coordination with private utilities. Excel has been doing some major work in there. We actually coordinated with them early so that they were moving their utility poles out during the winter, which is, from our side of the world and what we do, that's a great accomplishment to get a private utility in there actually early before we start to get them doing stuff. So this was one, again, where we opened up the road and they started working, and the level of effort that they needed to do, I'll say on Excel's side, and then we also had fiber optic communications with the different communication providers, getting in there and then having our contractor coordinate with them, work around their systems. Last thing we want to do is have somebody come in, hit a power line, it's a safety issue, but then all suddenly we have major businesses, residents without power. We have communication lines go down, so our contractor is being very thorough and very deliberate in their activities around there. We had a communications meeting, project meeting yesterday. As of yesterday, if our rain decides to stop here in September, I think I heard the statistics, the 7th wettest September that we've ever had here in the Twin Cities. Kudos to us for getting nice aquifers back refilled, but that doesn't tend to help construction projects, especially when your soils are made of clay. It tends to turn the soil to mud, not good working conditions. But we are anticipating they should be out doing the concrete curb and gutter concrete work here next week. What comes after concrete work is the paving work. We are anticipating mid-October here having that road back open to traffic. So great for the businesses, great for residents who are trying to who use that road to get to and from home or businesses or activities. I know I do. I'm ready for it to be open too. So we're looking forward to that coming soon. Let's talk about future projects. This is the big one. This is the big one that we have in our transportation improvement plan. We've been talking with city staff at Arden Hills and Shoreview about this. We've just selected a consultant to begin the project development process. This is Lexington Avenue from County Road E up to 694. Big potential impacts of that construction. But it's work that needs to be done. We got growing congestion happening in the area, looking at access management, and again, what are the safety options for that roadway? The pavement condition, again, you drive down it, it doesn't look that bad, but we are getting some significant rutting with the volume of traffic that's out there, with the truck traffic that uses that to access the retail businesses up there. And so we will be starting that process here very soon once we get that consultant on board. We are going to have major public involvement, public engagement, stakeholder engagement for this project. We know that, again, this is a heavy retail corridor with a lot of people coming in and out of it. We want those businesses to be successful during construction, after construction, so we'll be working closely with those businesses in there with future developments that are coming in to make sure that we are looking at everybody's needs in that corridor. And then on the smaller side of this, similar to the city, we have a pavement preservation program. We look out 5 years in our transportation improvement program. We identify projects or roadways that are starting to show that deterioration. It's pretty flexible, actually. We identify them every year, we assess them. Actually, this past summer, we have a van that drives around that goes out and does that assessment for us. We do visual assessments. We re-examine that every year because one winter to the next can significantly change a road. And so right now we have 2 roads identified within that 5-year program. The first one is Old Snelling from Highway 96 down to County Road E, and the other one is County Road D, basically down on the city's southern border down there. The one other item that I don't have in here, and it was referenced, we are starting to work with the city on potential intersection improvements at County Road E and Old Snelling there, right by Lindy's Steakhouse. One last thing that I would add in this is that similar to the city, for all of our projects, we do have specific project web pages underneath the Ramsey County website. I would suggest you go there. That gives you some project information on what's occurring, when it's occurring, potential detours, potential impacts. That also gives you a point of contact for that, so that you can hear directly from us and we can hear directly from you concerns, questions that you may have on what's going on, where are we. We appreciate you calling city council members and staff. They typically are a middle person in this, and they'll either tell you what they know, and sometimes it's changing day to day, but I would encourage you to reach out to us directly. We welcome that. That helps us be better at what we do too. So I appreciate the time here.
I just have a question. Someone wants to know if there's any plans to do something on New Brighton Road between County Road D and E2. It's in terrible shape, so is that on your list or anything you know about?
To the best of my knowledge, it wasn't, but I'm the new guy and I get to say I don't know. I'll go back and ask and see if that's in the program anywhere. Thank you.
When is the Rice Street Bridge going to be replaced?
So the question was, when's the Rice Street Bridge over 694 going to be replaced? We should be letting that contract here in November, getting construction starting early next year. Yep.
So I'm going to call all of the council up to answer questions. Since this is a joint project, we each get a little segment. But the one thing I wanted to bring up was the National Guard, the 34th Infantry Division headquarters. It's going to be 136,000 square feet. It's going to include an assembly hall, an auditorium, a ready bay, an outdoor ceremonial center, commander suites, classrooms, and it's going to be about $50 million worth of building that they're putting in our community. And with the Red Bulls are thousands and thousands of people, so it will make a major impact on our community. And again, yellow ribbons around the corner. We need to support the veterans that will be in our area. So the question that someone had asked was there any plans to upgrade New Brighton Road? Whoever asked this question, if they contact me afterwards, I will make sure that Ted gets back to us, and then I can give you that answer. One question was, what's the exact date for the F opening? I think Ted answered that mid-October, but hopefully by November 1st. Will the asphalt be done on Halloween on Indian Oaks trails? The answer is yes. Well, we will try our best. Of course, if it rains or snows, that really defeats the purpose of laying asphalt.
Don't say snow.
So, yes. Yeah, it's been a cold fall, but it's anticipated to have the asphalt on Indian Oaks Trail by then. Here's a card that says, why do we have to have low-income housing in Arden Hills? Well, part of that is Metro Council has provided that each city has to apply so much of their housing for affordable. And part of it is that we have people that work in, they're not minimum pay anymore, but lower income jobs that are doing 2 to 3, 4 jobs to make it by, and they need a place to live. So Met Council does not want people to keep expanding out. Lower income people don't have the newer vehicles to drive hundreds of miles or 20 to 30 miles to make it to their jobs. And out here, we don't have buses. We fight every year with Met Council to get buses out here. But it's a Met Council rule. If anybody has an issue, they should call Met Council. We do what we're told, and we're happy to, my whole neighborhood, the County Road D neighborhood up there, those houses all are affordable houses according to the Met Council rule. In our city, I think it's a house that's valued at $235,000 or less is counted as affordable. Could be up to $250 now. Don't quote me on that. If things are done properly, there shouldn't be, but Met Council is from your legislature. If you want to get rid of Met Council, you should call your legislator. I know councils had their opinion on that, and individuals had their opinion. And why aren't the codes being enforced after people complain? We try, Arden Hills tries, we have one code enforcer. We try to do that. There's a lot of issues where I get a lot of complaints from one person, but if the code enforcement goes out to that, I can think of one house, but then the code enforcer's out there and he sees that the person who's complaining has like 15 code enforcement rules too. So if we're gonna go around and somebody's complaining about peeling paint or something, the person next to them may have peeling paint too. So they try to do the best they can. Again, my thing is if you have an issue with this, call a city council member and the city council member can follow through. If you don't call staff, call city. That's the one thing I always tell people, call a city council member because we'll make sure it's logged and followed through on. Steve, you want to go?
Sure. We had a question regarding volunteer opportunities in the city. Where is the best place for citizens to go to check on or how to learn about volunteer opportunities? Well, to answer that, we have multiple social media presence besides the city website. The city maintains a Twitter account that they post to. They also have their own Facebook page you can subscribe to. And if you haven't already, I would recommend highly, to follow both of those venues. There is a section on the website that describes each of the committees and commissions and pretty much lists the current members on there. You can always contact city desk to inquire about opportunities to serve on any one of those committees or commissions. Second, does the city send out periodic emails or notices listing upcoming volunteer opportunities? They will typically post activity or ongoing things on either one of those Twitter or those Facebook feeds. And it's also in the newsletter which comes out monthly. So I would advise getting involved with the social media, the print media. And if you have any remaining questions, there's always the telephone you can reach out and grab. And anybody who's currently on one of those committees or commissions would be more than happy to answer any question about a prospective volunteer coming up. Right?
Okay, I have two related questions regarding transportation. First, we kind of already touched on this. What bridge is being redone in the old Snelling County Road 51 exchange? So that is the current bridge. It's kind of hard to tell you're going over a bridge, but you are. Just north on Old Snelling from 51, there is a box culvert that is a bridge that is, as Councilmember Holden mentioned earlier, deteriorated to the point where it needs to be replaced. The city, for many years, attempted to get grants to assist with the reconstruction of that, and we were successful, and that will happen soon. Nodded this fall will begin. So I think, did I answer the question adequately to whoever had it? Okay. And second, related to this, and Ted kind of mentioned the north portion of this, will you be upgrading the blacktop on Old Snelling Avenue next to Lindy's Steakhouse? And the answer is it is in our city program. So when we're talking Old Snelling, we're talking from Old Snelling from County Road East south to 51 across that bridge that's being redone. North of County Road E up to 96 is a county responsibility, correct, Ted? And as he mentioned, that's in their future plans in terms of pavement rehabilitation. For us, I think it's currently in our 2020 PMP, and Sue is nodding yes. So hopefully that answered that question. Fran.
I was given a question about elections, and I'm going to let our Deputy City Clerk Jolene answer it because she has all the details on that. Thank you.
Thank you. One of my responsibilities as the deputy clerk is to deal with elections, and so this year the biggest change that we have is that there will be no voting at City Hall. So pre-election voting and on election day, of course, you'll go to your precinct. Between now and October 30th, you can do absentee voting by envelope at 2 locations, either at 90 West Plato Boulevard in St. Paul, that's the Ramsey County facility, or you can go down to the Ramsey County Public Works Building, which is at the intersection of Highway 96 and Hamlin, and you just take a right-hand turn there, turn into Paul Corkwell Drive. They have a lot of signs up there. You'll be needing your identification, proof of residency here in Arden Hills, and they'll have a form for you to fill out while you're there. They'll give you a ballot, you'll complete it, fold it back up, put it in the envelopes that they provide for you, and turn it into them in the envelope. If you want to vote by ballot and actually put it through the ballot reader, you'll need to wait until the week before elections. So starting October 31st, you'll be able to vote by ballot and put it through the actual reader. But again, at those same 2 locations in St. Paul or at the Ramsey County Public Works Building, which happens to be in Arden Hills. So if you have any other questions about that, certainly feel free to call City Hall and talk to myself or Julie, the city clerk. We'll be happy to answer them. All of this information is also on the city website as well as on the Ramsey County website.
Real quickly, earlier, I thought I had missed a slide, and actually I did. So it's something we're really excited about. So I didn't want to leave without talking about this. Standard & Poor's, one of the nation's bond rating agencies, upgraded this year the city's bond rating for general obligation bonds to AAA from AA+. So those of you who know anything about bond ratings, this is a big deal, especially for a city our size. So this is the first time in our history that we've received this bond rating. Arden Hills shares this top rating with 22 other cities in the state, and we are the 5th smallest city to receive this recognition. So when we go out to go out for a bond for a project, it is a significant savings to the city. So that's something we're very proud of. Also, again, as we've talked about in years past, the city received all 3 of the Minnesota Government Finance Officers Association awards this year. Only 7 other cities in Minnesota have received all 3, so we are in good company with only a small number of cities that have won all 3 awards, and we have a long-standing history of winning all 3. I think it goes back 9-10 years, so that says something about our staff and the council's fiscal stewardship. So just didn't want to forget that.
Thanks, Dave. And for you who've never been to one of the tax meetings, it gets pretty lively discussed up there on what we're going to tax people. So there's been a lot of fighting to keep the taxes lower, get enough to what we do, so that we earn this. We earn this with blood, I think. One of the questions we had was what percentage increase is expected with TCAP. TCAP is, we are estimating a 60% increase in tax base. But if you run a city, it's different than if you run a county. Running a city, we have to supply all the maintenance work. We have to supply the maintenance to the parks, the roads, the sewers, the water, policing, everything that you think of on an everyday basis. So when you start thinking about an increase in your tax base, it just means if you need $100, you have those additional people to get that $100 from. Usually running a city is a break even. Commercial pays a little bit more in taxes, in property taxes, than they spend. Residents usually pay a little bit less. So having TCAP there, I mean, I always say, well, Minneapolis and St. Paul should be the wealthiest communities around, but they get all that state money and stuff. But again, it costs us money, and we try to break even, and our increases every year in the levies has to do with staffing, insurance, increases in, what? Safety, yeah. So public safety and everything that has to go back to the human people getting raises and making sure they have insurance. So as far as dollars, we have no idea what kind of dollars we will be getting yet. It's supposedly a $700 million build-out project. But that's it. I just want to thank everybody for coming. I really want to thank Ted for coming and letting everybody know who you are now, so we know who to call and complain, and feel free, you've got his name. Mary from AHATS and the Department of Defense, if anybody has any questions, she put the brochures out right up here. If you want to see what the readiness or the division headquarters is going to look like. And this is going to be a change for the Red Bulls. They've been in Rosemont for a long time, so we really need to make them feel wanted here. Thank to Mark. Mark always likes to come and do these presentations because we know we love road construction. And I want to thank staff for putting the presentation together. And again, it's an effort by the council. We all take a little part and we do it. And we're here for any questions afterwards. And thanks for coming, and make sure you guys get something to eat if you're... And the Tavern Grill, thank you. Yeah.